Yo, what is going on, guys? Chenzo here, back with another video. In today's video, I'm gonna be showing you guys my recent PVE flame fire build I have been running. This has been a new favorite of mine. It's really good, specifically when paired with the PYRO DYNO, which is basically a must to do good damage. But it really does do good damage. I run with people who run like power surge for PVE, and I do more damage with my deviant than they do in total. And it's just a really good build if you can get everything correct. Good mod. It's very specific. You need good mods, good substats. You need a good pyro dyno, or just a pyro dyno in general. But the better pyro dyno you have, the more damage you'll do. So it's all super important. Getting into the build though, on what we run here, and my build's going to be a little bit different than maximum damage as of right now, and I'll explain that in a minute, as I run a lot of silos, and this is for hard mode. Silos currently is the way my build is set up, but it's a quick fix if you're going to run a monolith, or if you just don't really care about those anomalies. They're kind of annoying. So when you use the LMG for this build, which is really good and does more damage than the AK, when you use the LMG, the fire will counter the regen in hard mode, but it doesn't do anything to the void. So that is why I have the shotgun as a secondary. This is to counter that void. However, if you're looking to do more damage, you would equip a quick wildfire, and that would be the end of it. You'd put a vulnerability amplifier, and that would be it. You would also throw on Cradle perks with that wildfire that will attach. So that would be in your Cradle. It would be these two perks, the Steady Hand and the Bounty Hunter. Getting into the build though, on what I'm personally running here, is for the primary, we run the KVD Boom Boom, which is basically the best flame weapon you can get at the moment. The AK is not too bad, but the KVD Boom Boom is definitely better. It has a exploding ability, so it only has a 30% chance to inflict fire or flame, compared to the AK's. It's just a 7-time trigger, 7-time hit is the trigger chance. So for the flame LMG, it's, excuse me, not a 30 but an 18% trigger chance. But when you kill an enemy that's affected by burn, you deal blaze damage that has 300% PSI intensity. The explosion inflicts 1 stack of burn on target hits. So basically, this KVD is super good. It's extra perks with inflicting the 18% burn, or excuse me, 18% chance to burn is just really good. So you would run the KVD Boom Boom. And for our mod, you're going to want to run a Flame Renaissance Talents. The only thing that would be better than Talents is if you have a specific Flame Renaissance to the fire. I know in PVE servers, you can get those from doing the Prime Wars. So I'm not too sure in PvP servers how you're supposed to get them. However, Talents works just fine for me. As you can see here, I have a really good Talents here. I mean, the golds could be swapped around to the element and status damage, but all the substats here are super good. Normal enemies and great enemies are great for PvE. Status damage and element damage are two of your best and most wanted attribute effects for your like your flame build here, as flame is going to deal element and status damage both. Going to the secondary, like I said, you would either run that wildfire with vulnerability amplifier if you're trying to up the damage, but if you're trying to counter the void anomalies, I run the dual fury shotgun with it. It actually isn't bad to be paired with it. The damage isn't bad whatsoever. And with this, you also run a Flame Renaissance. As you can see here, I have another Flame Renaissance Talents, element, status damage, normal enemies, and great ones. So another good Flame Renaissance attribute effects here. Going into the attachments for both weapons, For the KVD Boom Boom, I run the Hammer Compensator, the Compact Reflex sight, Tactical Laser sight, the large LMG Drum Mag, and then you would want to have tungsten or tungsten AP ammo, whatever is most affordable to you. Obviously, if you can't run those, run it with steel ammo. I run steel ammo when I'm just farming, and then tungsten against bosses. So you'd run it with tungsten. For the shotgun here, it's just a tactical laser sight. So getting into the armor, and you're going to be running a 4-piece shelter, and this is going to buff that pyro dino and help that pyro dino damage, and that's why my pyro dino, when he's out, and especially against bosses, but just against anybody, he does an insane amount of damage, and that stems from the 4-piece shelter we're running. So if you take a look at all the different effects here, shelter gives you that status damage reduction, which is just all around not a bad, bonus to have. A 2-piece is going to get you that element damage is 8%, which is obviously going to be good for Blaze. 3 is going to up the hits that are granted on your Deviant energy. So basically, every 1% element damage, that's Blaze, Frost, Shock, or Blast, the effect can stack up to 20%. So basically, your Deviant energy will increase your percentage of elemental damage. And then same thing here with number 4, not the same thing, but what I mean is that it has to do with your Deviant energy. A 4-piece is going to increase your max Deviant energy by 10% and also grant 2 additional stacks when hitting a weak spot. So overall, this is just super buffing your Pyro Dino, and this is why it's super important to have Pyro Dino, and literally you need it for this build in particular. So as I said, you were going to be running 4-piece, and on the head here, we run Deviation Experts. Again, talents for anything is going to be what you want, specifically elemental and status damage, and then normal elite enemies. Normal is always really good. Elite enemies is good. Great ones is really good. So all those are good bonuses, but you always want to try to hopefully get element damage, status damage. If you don't get element damage or status damage, weapon damage with the element damage isn't terrible, and it's also a really good choice. So I would try to choose between those two if you're looking for the best possible. I personally like the status damage, but the extra weapon damage could definitely help out your weapon a little bit by just adding more precise damage from your bullets themselves. Coming in with the mask, we run Blaze Amplifier, again talents, and as you can see, the magazine capacity, max HP, but what we really wanted here was the elemental damage. So you could have a couple better things, maybe more like, again, our Deviation expert here. However, this is good enough. Gold element damage, I take it. Coming in with the top, we do Flame Renaissance talents, again, status damage. It's just going to add to it, and if you can try to get attribute effects that have element and status damage, that's great. This is also great here. Great ones, a bonus to great ones is good, and a 3.2% bonus to your element damage. I mean, that's also good. Shelter Pants, we run Precision Charge, and this is talents. So for every 10% weak spot hit rate of the previous magazine, your element damage is a plus 4%. So basically, it's all about trying to hit the weak spot here, but when you do, and you have a very large magazine, because reloading resets this calculation, you have a very large magazine with an LMG, this is super good. It's good with other weapons, not just the LMG, but it works really hand in well with the LMG as long as you can hit weak spots easily. With the 3rd piece, it's going to be a barbecue gloves. So, or excuse me, yeah, the 3rd piece. So basically, barbecue gloves here, like I said, you run 4-piece shelter, 1-piece Bastille, and then you're going to have a 1-piece barbecue gloves. So for the barbecue gloves here, we run Status Enhancement. Status Enhancement is basically the best for this. You can maybe try a munitions amplifier, but Status Enhancement will always be the best bet and what you want to go with. So that is what I would personally always go with. And again, talents here we have, again, somewhat decent rolls. Could be better rolls, but Status Enhancement And then, like I said, you have one Piece Bastille, and that's going to be on my boots. Covered Advance, you run that basically on every build. This is a really good Covered Advance here. Gold, Element, Purple Status, and then normal and great ones here. This is really, really good here for PvE. And yeah, like I said, Cover Advance is just a give me for basically every build in PvE. So, next up is going to be the Cradle. Coming in with the Cradle, you're going to want to run the handgun and automatic weapon enhancement. Now, if you are not running the shotgun, you wouldn't run the handgun enhancement, which helps for shotties. To be honest, the reload 1 ammo from the reserve upon defeating an enemy actually doesn't benefit your flame too much, but I don't use the shotgun for the flame per se. I mean, it's a good secondary and the flame helps out and does damage, but that's not why I use it. Again, I specifically use a shotgun just to shoot at void anomalies. So if you aren't even going to use this for void anomalies, if you're looking for a build that's specifically the dual fury, you could actually run something very similar to what's being ran right now, and you would run this. The only thing is it reloads 1 ammo from the reserve upon defeating an enemy. And if you guys have ever actually read what Dual Fury does, the last shot of each magazine inflicts a stack of burn. So that actually affects you proccing burn as often as possible. And a weapon like Doombringer might be a possible secondary to run instead. But I actually think the damage with this has been fine for me. And if you do choose to use it on anything but a void anomaly, you're going to get more damage than you would get out of the Doombringer, as activating that, activating the burn is basically your whole build. So coming back to the Cradle, we run Master Tactician and Deviation Master. These are just 2 good side perks to be running that are just going to help increase your damage. We run Tactical Combo, which is again another side perk that just helps increases your damage. Status Enhancement is a gimme for your weapon here. Obviously, after hitting a weak spot, your status damage is 25%. We talked about how often you're going to hit a weak spot. Basically, any status build is going to really benefit from this. So you're always going to want to run a status enhancement trait here. Last but not least, we have Sustained Suppression, which adds to your burn build, your burn continuation and your damage. So basically, that's going to be good for your burn build here. If you were to want to not run the shotgun, I would take off handgun enhancement, and I would also take off Master Tactician or Deviation Master, and that would be swapped out for Bounty Hunter as well as Steady Hand. Alright, that's basically it for the KVD Boom Boom build. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about the build in particular, let me know. I appreciate you guys for watching. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. お前はもう死んでいる。